It's not absurd to ask an atheist where he or she gets her morals from. That's not an absurd question at all. You'd have to demonstrate logically why it's an absurd statement. And I can say, where did you get your clothes? Where did you get your food? Well, that's an absurd statement. Question? Oh, okay, sorry. Where do you get your morals? It's extremely important that we understand from where you get them. If you get them from an atheistic perspective, they must be derived from one of two places, basically, or a combination of your own preferences and social pressures and norms, or a combination there within. That means that, well, that's all I can think of. If you've got others, let me know, and I'll say there's three then. But the thing is, it becomes a subjective experience. Why is it, then, that what you would think would be morally wrong, I might think is morally right, or vice versa? Who would be right or wrong? If you want to say, well, society determines that, then what you're saying is the majority determines what truth is or what is morally right. No, I said if you were to say that, if. Okay, and if you don't believe that, then good for you, because that would necessitate that there be a moral standard that society has to answer to, and that it is not the one or the thing that forms morality. A Christian worldview can account for morality. Now, you may not agree with that. We can account for it. Don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal. Why? God says not to. Okay. So why is it wrong as an atheist to steal? You could say because it hurts somebody else.
No, it's because you know it's wrong.
And the Bible says you know it's wrong because the truth of God is written on your heart. You justify the scriptures themselves. And you do not, I'm sorry, but you're not giving me anything logical to demonstrate why you have any objective moral standard. I'm sorry, but you're not giving me anything logical to demonstrate why you have any objective moral standard.
Well, they're relative. Well, they're relative. Now let me just show this here. Everybody kind of agrees, and Matt just says to not lie is a good thing, right? We shouldn't lie. Now, let's say you're in a situation where a child comes to your door, is frightened, and comes in, and he opens the door and goes and hides in the closet, and then an insane maniac who is a child killer known to be escaped from an asylum comes down the street with an axe and bangs on your door and say, "Where's the kid?" Is the moral thing to say, "I don't know," or second closet on the left?
The atheist has not given us any objective standard by which we can judge what is right or wrong. You can laugh, and you can say you don't need to, but you know what? You don't live, you don't live that way, do you? You don't live in the way that you would teach. Morals are relative and subjective. Great. Then I'm going to go up to Mr. Kagin, and I'm going to take a gun and I'm going to rob him. Why is it wrong? You could not give me any reason other than subjective experiential reasons to demonstrate that it's wrong. But I can. God says don't steal. God says don't steal.
Yeah, but you
Matt, if that's the only reason you don't steal, please go on believing in God, okay? All right.
Crush your enemies. See them driven before you. And I hear the lamentation of their women.
One of the things we've all met is the accusation that we are strident or arrogant or vitriolic or shrill. What do we think about that? What do we think about that?
Yeah, well, I'm amused by I didn't expect when I started off my book tour to be as lucky as I was. I mean, Jerry Falwell died in my first week on the road. That was amazing.
Yes, that was amazing work. Yes, that was amazing work. Yes, that was amazing work.
You're a single cell of annoyance that has crawled out of the primordial slime and just put on a bad shirt and like a cheap tie.
Good. Okay.
And I got more. You're facile. Oh. You're sort of imbecilic. You're ill-informed. You're ill-educated. You've got to admit that. You've got the sense of humour of an 8-year-old.
God says don't steal.
Yeah, but you should
Matt, if that's the only reason you don't steal, please go on believing in God, okay? All right. And be proud, don't reject the term atheist. Another thinking human engaged in seeking truth.